Hello and welcome to Stitching with Cindy Bots. Today's project is a little carrier for my Kindle, a little zipper pouch with handles. There's my Kindle inside. My Kindle is a little smaller Kindle than ones I've had in the past. This one, when I measured it, was 5 by 7. Just my small little Kindle in there. It was 5 by 7, and I had to cut my material a few inches wider and a little bit taller so that I have enough material to cover the depth of the Kindle. Okay, so this is my little bag that I made, and I cut my outside fabric and my lining fabric from the same piece of cloth. You could make your inside lining a different color. You can make your handles a different color. It's up to you whether you want to use the same pattern on the outside as the inside. You're going to need to cut two 10 by 14 pieces if your Kindle measures the same as mine. I did 10 by 14, and I did a fold here at the bottom, so this isn't a cut seam. You could do 2 7 by 10 of the outside fabric, 2 7 by 10 of the inside fabric of the lining, if you chose to do that instead of one long piece that you folded over. All right, and you're going to want some kind of an interfacing. I chose to do flannel in there for my center part. Okay, so I have some flannel in there just to give it some stiffness and a little protection for the Kindle. Now my Kindle already has a case on it, so that's not quite an issue, but maybe your Kindle does not have a case. So let's get started on the project. Again, you're going to cut your fabric wide enough and long enough to consider in that depth. Now my Kindle was 5 by 7. I ended up, if I were to cut it in half here and put a bottom seam in, I would have needed 2 7 by 10s, but because I did mine in one big long strip, it was 14 by 10. If your Kindle is a different size, you are going to want to consider that depth. So I added 2 inches to the width, and I believe 3 inches for the depth. Okay, and mine is a little tight. I think if I were to do it again, I would just add 3 inches to both the height and the width, and then it would give me plenty of room. All right, so here we go. So the first thing we did was we attached our handles. Now this is just taking a 4-inch strip of material, pressing it at the halfway mark, fold it over, press it at half, then open it up, fold those ends in and press again, and then close it up to make your strip. All right, so I've talked about that in some other videos. Again, what we're talking about is just going ahead and folding it in half, pressing it, folding the edges to the middle, folding it in, and pressing and sewing down. Okay, so you end up with a quarter of the width that you started with. So this was 4-inch piece, and I came up with a 1-inch handle, which I like. Now I measured down 1.5 inches and over 2 inches, and that is where I made my handle seam. Okay, so just pin that down. Again, you can have your handles be lower, you can have them closer together, you can have the straps wider. There are so many different things that you can do. Again, I chose to bring mine 1.5 inches down and 2 inches over, and then I sewed it down. And then you don't want to see this raw edge, so to get that hidden, you just fold that back over and sew high enough that your raw edges are catched inside, okay, which is exactly what I did here. And you can see there's no raw edges showing. Okay, so then what you want to do for your sewing is you want to pin that handle out of the way. Once you get those attached, you want to pin it so it's out of the way when you're sewing the next part of your bag. Now we're going to attach the zipper. To attach the zipper, you want to put your fabrics, your lining, and your outside fabric right sides together, and you want to sandwich this zipper. Now you want to make sure that your pull tab is on the outside, touching the outside fabric when you make your sandwich. Okay, so you just fold that over and you stitch it down. Stitching that in. Most sewing machines come with a zipper foot. If not, they're not that expensive to use. I've gotten to the point where I just use my 1/4 inch foot and just be careful. All right, so then you fold it over, make sure everything's lined up nice, kind of push that down out of the way, and then top stitch up here. Okay, the reason you're top stitching is so that when you open and close your zipper, this fabric does not get caught in the zipper. All right, so then you're going to do the same thing again with this side. You're going to put the right sides together of the fabric. All right, you're just going to put those together, making your sandwich one more time. Okay, so you just put those together and sew that up. All right, I'm going to put a little clip on that. All right, so we're sewing that together. All right, so then once you sew that down, you're going to want to top. Okay, so you sew that down. So you have made your sandwich. Now you're going to want to top stitch this, which means you're going to have to pull it through. Okay, so you want to go ahead and sew that down. Then you're going to pull it through. Once you do that, you can go ahead and top stitch it. Now you're going to fold your bag, your pouch, to look like this. All right, and what you want to do is you're going to take this over to the sewing machine. You're going to put that pull tab down in the middle. Let me see if I can get the slide out of the way. You're going to put that down in the middle, and you are going to line up your zipper as if it was going to close, and you're going to want to sew it closed. Okay, now you don't have to do that if you have a zipper that is the correct size. I buy my zippers in bulk and I cut them down. Okay, so just sew that closed so that your zipper doesn't pull off and fly away. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, is you're just going to sew that down. Now my sewing machine allows me to do that. If your sewing machine breaks needles or has a difficult time doing that, you can either just tuck your zipper into your project or buy the zipper at the right width for your project. Again, just sew that over and cut this out of the way. Okay, so now you have your zipper open. Now that's important for the turning part, so make sure that tab is in the middle. Remember, these are sewn shut. I just haven't done that because of the demonstration purpose. You're going to lay your pieces together. Okay, and you're just going to sew your side seams now. Now I choose to make mine a little bit more than the 1/4 inch seam. I like to go to the next mark up just to give a little more strength. I sew down the side, and then I also like to straighten it all out, sew across the bottom, come up and sew the side. Now when you get to the lining part, you got to remember that we're going to be turning this right side out, and that will hide all our seams. You're not going to have any seams on the inside of your bag. So you want to do maybe 1 inch or 2 down from the zipper. Leave your opening, do a couple inches down from the zipper again, do the bottom and up the side, so you will have on the side your turning spot. Now if you chose not to have the this big piece be one big long piece, if you chose to do it in 2 small pieces, and you have the cut here you can do your seam opening at the bottom. Some people like to have that at the bottom. They think it's not seen as much. I kind of like it on the side for a project like this, especially when what I'm going to be storing in it and carrying it has a little more weight. But it really doesn't matter. Okay, so then you're going to pull everything in through your hole. You're going to pull that right sides up. And then where you have this folded over, because you've had of a seam, it's going to kind of make a natural closure when you pull that through, okay? So you're just going to close that up, and you can either top stitch your bag or leave it open. I did not top stitch my bag. I don't think it really needs it. Again, you're just going to pull everything through. Here is my where I pulled mine through. I just folded those raw edges down and in so you cannot see them, and I just folded those together. It's right on that seam allowance, and I just stitched it closed, tucked everything in, and there you have it. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Please subscribe and come visit me again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.